Yay Media Group.
What's up?
Yes.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. First of all, I just sat in a Google Meet room that I don't know how it even got there. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, I have a feeling this is the wrong room I'm supposed to be in. And then I just read my emails and I was like, okay, this makes more sense.
Hey guys, episode 197. I am so excited about this guest. Well, we are both so excited. Kaitlyn Bristowe. Am I saying your last name right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I panic every time when I introduce guests that I'm saying their name wrong.
Wait, I wasn't gonna say anything, but when I was on Daily Blast Live, we do stories about you or bring you up, and I'd always say Kaitlyn Bristowe. Wait, it's Bristowe?
Bristowe, yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm saying it right now. I was saying it wrong back then because they're like, you always mess her name up. I'm like, it's not that. No. I don't know, but that's why I'm like, Jordan, you intro her.
Nailed it.
No, I'm terrible at names, but you and Trista were my favorite Bachelorettes. And I don't know. I just love you guys. I appreciate you coming on here, but let's get started with our Bachelor. We have so many questions for you with the Bachelor questions. So did you, when you saw Chris on your season, it was season 19, right? Yeah. Season 19 of The Bachelor. When you saw him, when you walked out of the limo, were you like, okay, I think this is going to work or no?
Dang, jump right in the pool.
What?
I love it. No, I think that's a great question. And I honestly, not a lot of people have asked me that one. And I think I've been asked every question under the sun when it comes to the Bachelor world. But you know what's funny is when I was not on TV yet, I was watching him on Andy Dorfman's season of The Bachelorette. I remember rooting for him, like wanting him to be picked because I thought he was hot. And I come from a really small town and I've always been attracted to a farmer. I know that sounds weird, but I'm like, that's so hot. He's a farmer. And I just thought he was like the most normal one out of all of them. So when I actually saw him in person, when I came onto the limo, I was like, oh yeah, he's even better in person. And already was like having a mad crush on him.
The farmer part would have been a bonus for me too, as well. Yeah. So
what are you saying?
Well, I'm from a smaller town and from North Carolina, and farmers are hot and the whole thing. But
you both should have been on Farmer Dates a Wife instead of Bachelor and Big Brother. Remember that show? Wasn't that a show?
Farmer Dates a Wife?
Wasn't that a show?
Still on.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe you guys could make a guest appearance.
Yeah, we should, because I honestly think I met the guy that was the farmer out in Nashville one night, and I was like, "Whoa, that show still is happening." And he was like, "Yeah." And
Farmer wants a wife. Yeah.
On that season, did you know while you were recording, like, I'm a fan favorite?
No, I definitely
not at all.
No, I did not know how I was going to be perceived because all the girls in the house kept being like, they've never had someone like you on the show. And I was like, what does that mean? And they're like, I don't know. Usually I had like tattoos, and I feel like I just like swore a lot and talked about things that other people didn't. And so I actually thought I was going to be the opposite. I did not think I was going to be a favorite at all. And I was like mentally preparing myself for that because I came off the show and you wait so long for it to air. And I was like, okay, I just have to like get in the right headspace to not be liked by people that watch the show. I'm not like the typical girl that goes on the show. And the first episode, I definitely thought 100% I was going to be the most hated person on the show because I was like the weirdo night one that said weird shit when she came out of the limo, and like I was cracking bad jokes and I was making everybody uncomfortable, and I was like, here we go. And then I started getting more likable as the season went on, and I was like, oh, okay.
I like that.
I like that though. And you were on when it was, I feel like the height, everybody was doing watch parties of The Bachelor. So we were living in Los Angeles, I remember, and his buddy Louie was the only guy friend of his that watched Bachelor, Bachelorette. Jeff would cook dinner. We didn't have kids then. And he would come over to the apartment and we would sit and we would watch the whole thing. Yeah.
My season?
Oh, yeah. We watched all of them. We watched, yours, Emily Maynard. I don't know what order everybody's in. Yeah. I want to say like JoJo. Yeah. We watched that, but we would all sit and have our own little watch party on.
Because there's only a couple names that I know. There's so many Bachelor people. So and, I mean, any Big Brother too. But there's only a certain amount of names that I know. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. And then what does it feel like when, because you made it to the top 3.
Yeah.
What does it feel like getting cut in the top 3? Because you're like, I almost got the ring. I was right there.
You know what's funny is I have watched the show for so long, and I watched it. I remember watching Trista's season. I remember watching it with my mom all the time. And it was the most surreal moment to be standing there and seeing Chris Harrison walk forward and say like, I'm so sorry, Kaitlyn, but you did not receive a rose. It was like an out of body experience where I was like, I'm that girl. I'm the girl that was like shocked that she doesn't know she's going home, and Chris Harrison had to deliver it. And now I'm going to walk out. Like I was almost watching it from a different body, knowing what was going on in this moment. And I did not think it was coming. I've never been more confident of anything in my life that he was going to pick me. Wow. I thought I was it. I was like, there was 3 of us standing there, and me, Whitney, and Becca looked at me and she was like, I'm definitely going home. And I went, why do you say that? Because we aren't allowed to talk at that point. So I don't know how all their overnight dates went. Ours went great. So I was like, why do you say that? She was like, I don't know. It's just, we left it on a weird note and I don't know how he feels about me. And I just don't think we're there yet. And so I was like, okay, well, more reassurance that it's me. And then Chris comes in and he goes to hand out his roses and he goes, actually, before I start, Becca, can I talk to you for a second? And Becca looked at us and we were like, oh. And so I was like, well, she's going home. And then he came back with Becca and he's holding her hand and they panned to me and I just went, oh, shoot. Because in that moment I realized like, why is she not going home? And then I was like, well, I don't think he's picking Whitney. And then he sent me home and I was just in complete shock. And again, it was like a big ego, like slam when he was like, it's not you. I was like, what? It's for sure me.
Look at the success you had after. But at the time, you're not thinking that, right? Well, none of that's running through your head.
Even like 2 days after, I was like, oh, was I just drinking the Kool-Aid? Because I got back to my room from getting dumped. And I remember being like devastated. I was so devastated and I didn't see it coming. And then they have a therapist that waits in the room for you when you get sent home just to make sure you're like, okay. And I was like, I'm so upset. And she goes, are you? And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, I just don't know if he would have like been the one for you, Kaitlyn. Like, I don't know if you could have lived on that farm and been alone. Like, you're too big of a personality. And I was like, no, I could have. And it was the first time someone had been real with me in like a lot of weeks. And I got on a plane from Bali and I had a lot of time to think on my way home. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if that was my guy. And it was just kind of like, I had just been in that bubble for so long and they really like put him on a pedestal. So you're sitting there the whole time thinking like, this guy's God's gift to the earth. Like there's nothing wrong with him because all the producers, they're the only people you talk to and all the girls are just like, over him. So you think he's the best.
Wow.
Do you think travel, because like those seasons, y'all were traveling and going to these amazing places.
When did you become Wolf Blitzer? You're just firing questions at her.
I have so many things, like questions to ask her about it. But that season, those seasons, you guys were traveling around. Do you think being in those beautiful places, like you felt more like, oh, I love you? Because you weren't like in Big Brother sitting in a house with no TV and had to just sit there and talk.
But we do talk to a therapist after. So I think all reality shows do that.
Okay, well, they should because it's a lot.
Yes.
But honestly, if you look back at my season, Bali was the only cool place that we went the whole season. And that was when it's only the final 3 because he was a farmer from Iowa. They were like, this was them saying like, we don't have budget for this season or they're saving it or something because they go, he really wants to see how you guys like do in like his natural habitat. So we went to Iowa twice. We stayed at the Bachelor Mansion for way longer than any season ever has. We went to like Des Moines, Iowa, and somewhere, like we didn't go anywhere that was outside of the States until the final 3. So I actually do think I fell in love with him. I just don't think he was my person.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to go back to the beginning before Jordan asked you, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, yeah.
But I just want to know, like, 'tis the holiday season for getting run down.
I always feel that way because I'm always rushing around trying to get the last minute gifts and wrapping, and I stress myself out.
But you know what doesn't change? Our routine with AG1.
It's great for immune support. I love it for my gut health. I love it for the energy, everything.
I don't know the last time, other than you, I've been so faithful to something.
I do 4 ounces of water, 1 scoop, a little bit of vitamin D3, K2. I put it in, shake it up, and I'm on the go.
I love their new flavors with tropical, citrus, and berry. All of them are fantastic. A little to my daily routine.
And talk about your AGZ.
My nighty nights?
Your nighty nights.
The last thing I put in my body at night to help me go to sleep is AGZ. So that's the beginning of my day and the end of my day. It starts with AG1 and ends with AGZ.
And we have the chocolate flavor. And Jeff always says it feels like he's having a nighttime treat.
Well, with the holidays here, it tastes like a little hot cocoa, but it helps you sleep.
AG1 has their best offer ever. If you head to drinkag1.com/togetherness, you'll get the welcome kit, a morning person hat, a bottle of vitamin D3, K2, a AG1 flavor sampler, and you'll get to try their new sleep supplement, AGZ, for free, which has been game changer for our nightly routine. That's drinkag1.com/togetherness for $126 in free gifts for new subscribers.
So give the gift of AG1 this holiday season and use our code. Go to drinkag1.com/togetherness. Happy holidays. Where did it all start for you? Were you a fan of reality television? Did you watch Bachelor before and be like, that's going to be me one day? Like, how did this all come about?
You know what's crazy is I actually wanted to be on Big Brother. That was my show. That was the only show I ever considered being on. It was the only reality show I really ever watched besides Bachelor. And so I was dating I'm Canadian. And so I was dating a hockey player, as we do. And I ended up moving to Germany with him. And I would like get some sort of, I don't know, like thing, HDMI, something that you could put in that I could watch Big Brother when I was in Germany. And also I would watch Bachelor. And I remember coming home and we broke up, and I was so upset about this breakup. And my girlfriend goes, maybe you should go on The Bachelor. And I was like, no, I want to go on Big Brother. And so we did a whole audition tape for Big Brother, and they don't take Canadians. And so she ended up saving all of my like pictures and headshots and video stuff. And she sent it all into The Bachelor and told me she was doing that. But I was like, they probably don't take Canadians either. Or maybe they only take a couple. And she was like, no, I think they do. And I didn't hear anything. And then a year later, I was working at a restaurant, and I had a missed call, and I listened to the voicemail, and it was like, hey, this is blah, blah, blah from ABC casting, wondering if you're still single and wanted to be on this season of The Bachelor. And I was like, oh my God. But it's interesting because I don't think a lot of people would maybe admit this, but I always knew I was somehow going to be on TV. I didn't know what it looked like, but I had vivid dreams of being on TV. Now, usually they were vivid dreams of being in the diary room of the Big Brother house. And I really thought I was going to be on that show. And then I was like, okay, well, this is a different angle, but here we go. And no one in my family or my friends was surprised by it. They're like, of course you are.
Well, I think you picked the right road.
I think you did too, because I feel like I was talking to Trista about this. Mm-hmm. I was saying how like the Bachelor franchise is so big. You get so many opportunities, and it brings like Big Brother.
ABC, from the outside looking in, you could tell me, but from the outside looking in, ABC really gets behind their people, and there's more opportunities for you afterwards. Would you agree with that or no?
I have had I don't even know how to answer this sometimes, because I have had kind of a rocky relationship with ABC. I'm now in the most wonderful place with them, and I have been for about 5 years, but it was really tricky because my season was one of the bigger seasons. And so when I came off of it, that's also when Instagram became a way to start a brand or make money. And no one had ever really heard of that or seen that before in our world. And they didn't know how to handle it at that time, because it was so new to everybody. It wasn't in my contract like that. I couldn't go do like these brand deals on Instagram because nobody knew what that really looked like yet. And so contracts look a lot different now, where they monetize on it, and how it's smart of them to like use their people now to, you know, help me help you. You get more opportunities. It helps them. Now they understand that machine of social media, where back then they didn't really. And I kind of like ran with it, and they tried to stop me from going on Dancing with the Stars, because the creator of the whole show was like, we actually don't want you to want fame. We want you to just focus on your relationship. And I was like, I don't want fame. I want to go on Dancing with the Stars. I danced since I was little. It's like a dream of mine to be on that show. And they wouldn't let me go. And about 5 years later, after I didn't let it go for 5 years, because that's who I am, they finally let me go on the show. And then they started realizing, I think, the power of like, you know, how that could help them in the long run. But I just think the Bachelor Nation fans are like so loyal to watching us be in relationships. So many of us break up and then find other people in the Bachelor Nation world. And everyone's just like so invested in us as like people in relationships. And I think that we get a lot of opportunities with like social media. And I think as of the last few years, a lot more opportunity in general, but it took them a while to get there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because I always just thought that, because CBS rallied for us, you know, like, and I got my opportunities there, so I don't want to shit on them. But it's totally. The regime kind of turned over, and when we came up, it's all new people, and like now I can't even get an email back. I'm like, what happened? You know, so I don't know. I just was wondering if ABC was different in that aspect. That's
but there was no Instagram when we were on, because it was 2009.
Yeah. Twitter when we got out.
Twitter had just started, and we were with our good friend Bob and Shannon Elizabeth, and she set up our Twitter.
Yeah, which was very surreal.
And I had a flip phone. I just had like a Motorola flip phone.
Do you, okay, this is a question for you. Do you wish that your time had social media, or is it a blessing that you didn't?
It's a blessing.
I think it is a blessing.
I mean, the Big Brother difference is everything lives online on Big Brother, you know? So whatever you said back then comes back around, which I've faced many times. But I mean, it wasn't as prevalent. So I think now it's really hard. So when you were talking about you have to wait a couple months to get fan reactions and people's reaction, I don't know what's better in that aspect. When you're on Big Brother, you have no idea what they're thinking, and you get out and you're like, what in the world? And luckily we had a good reaction. It was a good reaction immediately when we got out. That anticipation of 2 months, that would be tough. That would be tough.
Gosh. It was awful. I did so much therapy around being like the villain of a season, because I thought I was going to, and I was just like, I don't know how they're going to portray me. Like now looking back, I'm like, did I make mistakes? Did I screw up? And she was like, well, were you yourself? Like, even if you screwed up, even if you are the villain, were you being you? And I was like, yes, to like a T, 100% at all times, being myself. And she was like, well, then that's all you could do. And then, but I think about that often with Big Brother, how, especially in these days, you can't say anything without getting canceled, and how they are watching. And people that come off and don't know that there's live feeders the way that there are. Did you guys know how many people were watching the live feeds, or was that like more of a thing then?
I had no idea.
Kaitlyn, I didn't even know what Big Brother was. So that's a whole nother thing going into it. But I was scouted, never watched the show. So when we're in the house, I remember everybody getting ready, being like, it's live feeds, because it used to be on Showtime after dark. So everybody was getting ready, and Jeff and I are like, what's going on? What are they talking about? I thought in the house, that TV screen that you see Julian, I thought we could watch TV. I swear to you. I was like, yes, at least. I thought it was kind of like the real world.
That's adorable.
I had no idea what was going on.
Being naive to TV, I think, like, I was so naive, and I'm glad I was. And I think a lot of people go in, like, especially now, a little bit calculated, or, you know, knowing they're on. But I was so oblivious to how TV worked. Like I didn't understand that there was like edits, the way that there were, or that, you know, like when I got out of the limo, I always joke because I was like, it was just silence. Like you could hear crickets. I was expecting like the romantic music to be playing like you see on TV, but I just like, I was so shocked by everything. When I would lay on the couch, I'd look up at the ceiling and it was stage lights, not like an actual roof. And I'm like, huh? Like I was so confused that I was on TV the whole time, but I'm glad I was.
Yeah, that's the best though, because
that's what made you stand out. And I think that's what makes your television experience good, is when you go into it naive and because people who watch it and they're like, I'm going to be like this. And now I feel like people are doing it for Instagram and they're doing it for television, and it's just not genuine anymore.
Yeah. When I got out, like an example, I've told this story many times, but we were so naive to the fact, I knew people were watching, right? It's on CBS, and I knew my family was watching and friends, but I didn't know how many people were watching. So when I got evicted the first time, I walked out and someone's like, hey, Jeff. And I was like, oh, what's up, man? And I was like, and I used to live in LA. So I went to LA to be an actor when I was in my early 20s, didn't go on Big Brother till I was 31. And someone's like, hey, Jeff. And I was like, oh man, I think I worked with that person at Miyagi's or something, this old restaurant. And then someone's like, hey, Jeff. I'm like, what's up? I'm like, I think I went to college with that guy. What's he doing here? And so I sat down and Julie interviews me and I look back and I was like, Julie's like, what's up, at a commercial break? I'm like, I think I worked with that guy or something. And and she's like, Jeff, you just been on TV for 3 months. These are fans of the show. I'm like, what? And I kind of got like a pump of energy. I was like, yeah. And everyone's like pumped. But that's how naive I was. I was completely clueless. I thought I was the opposite. I thought, because I also used to be, one of my jobs as a failing actor, was I used to be a seat filler for all these different shows, like $25,000 Pyramid. I just sit there all day and watch them film. So I'm just like, all these people are seat fillers. They're just paying them and giving them signs or whatever. I had no idea. So that, and nothing's like the first time, for at least for us, because it was such a great result. But did you have that? I know you've had much more success later on, but was there anything like that first time for you?
So no, that was the best. I had so much fun being naive and not knowing. Like I genuinely thought the producers were like, oh, I thought they wanted the best for me. Like I thought they were just friends that happened to work on the show. And so my first experience on The Bachelor, I had the best time. I made the best girlfriends. I made so many friends as producers. I slept like a baby at night. I thought I was getting engaged. Like the whole time until I got sent home was just pretty wonderful. And then, I mean, a couple ups and downs, but then going into being the Bachelorette, I realized what it was. And I realized that still not to the extent that I should have. I should have realized it even more. And again, I'm actually grateful I didn't, but it was more of like, oh, you need me to play your game. So I need to figure out a way of making good TV, but also making this a genuine experience for me. And I did do that, but I came out of it in such a dark place because I felt so manipulated and so used. And I was on the other side of it thinking like, oh, I should be now happily engaged. Like I went through all that for this, but we were in such a bad place and he was holding so much against me and our relationship was not good, but we were faking it for the public. And it was just awful, awful, awful the second time around. And then that was really it, because I didn't do any other show until like Dancing with the Stars, which was incredible. So my first time in Bachelor, amazing. Being the Bachelorette was absolute torture.
It's ironic the similarities between the two shows, just behind the scenes. That's all. I don't know. It's refreshing to hear that.
And then what is that like when you pick someone at the end and you know, okay, this probably isn't going to work out, but because you handle the negative comments so well.
Oh man.
Did you?
No, you do.
I did. Yeah, I did. It was more of like, it felt like me against the world when the guy that I picked, I felt like was supposed to be on my team, and he would kind of like, and I get where he's coming from now with the benefit of hindsight. I understand that like, yeah, that must have felt really shitty to be, you know, starting this foundation of a relationship with somebody that didn't know if they were going to choose you and slept with somebody else and then had feelings for this person and told two people they loved them. And then you seemed like the best out of the group. Like that's how he felt. And he kind of never let go of that feeling of like, oh, I was just the best one there. So it felt like me against the world because I had negativity coming to me at all angles and people judging me for my decisions and my choices. And the online hate like probably bugs me more now than it did 10 years ago. Yeah. And back then I just thought like, oh, this is so embarrassing for these people. Like I was almost shocked by how awful grown women's behavior was because I'd never seen anything like it. You grow up in a small town being surrounded with love and people that love and respect you and how you feel the same. And then you get chewed up and spat out on this TV show. And all of a sudden, as you guys know, people can love or hate you for any reason that they want. And I was more just shocked by it. But then I would come home for comfort and I was getting like almost that he agreed with them. He wouldn't say I agree with them, but it would be like he'd feel the same way inside.
Why do you think it's harder now for you?
I think it's like I've kind of built my own personal brand. So I take it more personal now where I'm like, I get that they hated me on like I'm pigeonholed into one character, one dimensional character on a show. Like you don't even know me. You can say whatever you want because I was, like you saw 2 seconds of my whole day. We film from 7 a.m. till sometimes 7 a.m. the next day. Like it's crazy. And what they show from, that amount of time is this much. So I kind of was more understanding of like, oh, these miserable people just have nothing to do but like judge this one-dimensional character on their screen. But now I'm like, I show so much of my life and I share so much with everybody and I feel like I'm a good person. So I'm almost like, wait, why do you still hate me? It's almost worse now. I don't know.
I think they're jealous because you're pretty and you're successful.
And you just ripped it up.
And you're just who you are.
And you ripped it up with Andy Richter on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
That had to be amazing. We just watched the video. Did you talk with him? Is he a fun guy? He seems like a fun guy.
He's the best. I was such a fan of Conan O'Brien growing up. I made my parents buy me a TV for my room because I wanted to watch Conan before bed. And so I loved Andy, and watching him on Dancing with the Stars was so sweet because I think himself included, nobody thought he was going to make it as far as he did. And just seeing how hard he worked and then seeing it in person was so cool because I know how hard it is to pick up a Viennese waltz. Like for me, that was one of the hardest because I grew up dancing, but it's different counts. It's different steps. It's different, like the way you have to hold your arms and shoulders and the amount you have to lean back and keep your head a certain way, like every detail that goes into it. And he picked it up so fast when I was there, and he was just a joy to work with, and he was kind and he was hilarious and he was hardworking. And I was just very impressed by him overall.
We've been having a lot of people in town lately.
Way too many people.
But what we like to do is give them a little taste of home, right?
Yes.
And the perfect thing for that is Goldbelly.
We actually just had a friend in town, and we had sandwiches from Louisiana that we got from Goldbelly, and our friend loved them. He's like, where are these sandwiches from? I go, Louisiana.
No, they're from Goldbelly.
What I love about Goldbelly is it ships to your house, and once it's there, you just put it right in your freezer, and it's there whenever you're ready to use it.
Whether it's snow crab from Miami or deep dish pizza and beef sandwiches from Chicago, we had buddies from Boston in town, some other buddies from Louisiana. There's something from everybody that gives them a little taste of their hometown flavor.
Now with the holidays coming, you could get Martha Stewart's salted chocolate caramel cake. Doesn't that sound good?
Yes.
You can get a Dubai chocolate cake. I just recently got the NYC brunch kit because I knew you would love it.
And I just ripped out the barbecue from Texas the other day, and we ate on that all week.
And it feeds our neighbors. So if you are looking for that perfect gift for everyone on your list, or want to impress your friends and family with an unforgettable meal and make hosting a breeze this holiday season, go to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code Togethermess. That's goldbelly.com. Code Togethermess for 20% off your first order.
Give the gift of Goldbelly and give them a little taste from home. I like that.
That's good.
I'm coming up with good lines.
You are. You won season 29 of Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
And even though you're a really good dancer, and even though you are a dancer, was it still intimidating?
Oh, It was so intimidating because people expected a certain level of dance out of me from being a dancer. And it's always so controversial on Dancing with the Stars if people come in as a trained dancer, because sure, I was a trained dancer, but I also didn't make it as a dancer because I wasn't good enough. So I'm like, and I never touched a ballroom. I never understood the ballroom, like lingo, the counts, everything that I kind of just said about the Viennese waltz. Like it was almost unlearning so many things about dancing to learn how to dance in heels and position yourself for Latin dancing and balance, and everything was so intimidating and so challenging. And my partner, who I truly still love to this day, but he was going through a lot. And so he was like not in a good headspace to make the experience like positive. And I almost cried every night, and I would do that show again in a heartbeat if they asked, because it destroyed my body. I ripped muscles under my ribs. I think a rib was out of place. I had tendonitis in both ankles, one way more severe than the other. I was just like in shambles. And then I couldn't wait to get out there every day. Like I loved it.
How much time do you have before it airs to start practicing?
So
do you have like a month or two?
No. So I was one of the first people to find out that I was going on the show the first time around when it was my actual season. And I found out like maybe a month before, and you go out 2 weeks before the show starts. So you're doing a lot of press, and then you get a week of rehearsals. So say my first dance was a cha-cha. So I have a week to practice that. Monday night comes, I've practiced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday's camera blocking. So you just like go to the actual stage and you figure out where the cameras need to be and you block. And then the next day is show day. So really it's like 5 days of big time rehearsals, and then 2 days of like casual rehearsing. And then Monday happens, live show. You go to bed that night and you wake up and you learn a new dance to perform that next week.
How important is it for the professionals, the people that the celebrities dance with, to win that? And how competitive are they in the process?
It's pretty competitive because they make more money as the weeks go on, as do the celebrities. So they get paid a certain amount, and then each week that you stay longer, you make more money. So it's competitive in that way. But also I'll never get over how competitive it was, but at the same time, everyone rooting for each other. Like it is the most family friendly feeling when you get there, because you're like scoping out your competition and you're realizing how good somebody is or bad somebody is. And you're saying like, oh, this person's going to go home, or this person could stay a while, or whatever it is. But you're also rooting for them because you're like, I know how hard you're working in that studio, and I know that your body hurts just as much as mine, if not more. And you become friends with them behind the scenes, and it's so funny because all the pros are friends with each other, and that's their own little world happening there. And everyone just roots so hard for each other no matter what, which I thought was crazy because I thought it was going to be like cutthroat.
I mean, I get the camaraderie of everybody putting in blood, sweat, and tears, because it's just like a sports, at the end, you all shake hands, even though you're competing. But I would think like under their breath, like, I hope that bitch twists her ankle. That's what I thought,
Well, I will say, so Jeannie Mai was on my season, and she was so good. And she ended up, I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh, if only she could just stub her toe really hard or something. I could like something and then she ended up getting actually like a throat, like something where she couldn't dance anymore. And then I felt like I was like, did I manifest that? And I felt so bad because she was like the nicest, coolest person. But I really think she had the potential to go all the way. She was so entertaining, and she was getting better every week. And then she got sick, and I was like, it's all my fault.
Do you have a mirror ball trophy? Do they let you take that home? No way.
Yeah.
You don't see that? Oh, that's awesome. I was going to say, I'd cut a hole and start drinking out of that thing.
Oh, yeah. When I won, it was one of the best feelings of all time. And it was like the highest high into the lowest low. Okay, maybe not. That was dramatic. But it was like I had worked so hard, and that show became like everything to me. And it's like 3 months of work. So because I made it to the end, I was there from the start to finish, and I did not know what to do with myself after, because I was not having something to go to every day. I wasn't trying on costumes every week. And I felt like I was like, I didn't take it all in the moment. I want to go back. I want to do it again. Because you just get so used to like being there, and you fight so hard for this thing, and then you get it and you're like, now what? And it's just done. I feel like it's probably similar to like winning Big Brother where you're like, okay, now what? Like,
now what's next?
I don't know what that feels like.
Well,
Lost twice.
You kind of won because you guys are like the fan favorites and you've got each other.
I've been hearing that for a while.
You know what? One question I did want to ask with Dancing with the Stars was it always seems like Val, isn't it Val?
Yeah.
Mark, Derek, people like that always have good dancers. They never have a bad dancer. No. So why? Is it seniority? Is it favoritism? I've always wanted to know that.
Well, I don't know because I wish I knew the answer to that because I have thought about that so many times and I don't know the answer to it. But I guess no, because look at Emma. Emma's like a fan favorite. She's been there since early days. She has seniority and she still gets people like Andy Richter, who I mean, obviously turned out to be wonderful, but she didn't think they were going to go further than week 1. So I don't know but you are right. And I noticed that with Val and Mark, well, obviously, especially because Derek's now a judge, but I was like, man, I wonder if they don't agree to doing the show unless they get a good dancer because we could just not know that. I don't know.
Yeah, I've totally thought that because they always have
needs them.
Did you get to know people like that work on this show, like the band and stuff?
Yeah, well, so my season was a bit different because I was in the COVID season. So we actually like didn't get to have a live band and we didn't get a few things. Like there's no live audience during my season, which was
that's gotta be tough.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was like they had screens up and it looked like shadows of people and they had sound machines for like cheering and laughing and clapping and stuff. But it's so different because so the whole season I went without an audience and I was like, I can't even imagine how nerve-wracking that is. But then I've now been, I danced when they announced me going on tour with them on this Janet Jackson night and there was a crowd and I was like, that was electric. Like it is so much better with a crowd. You just feed off their energy and you forget about the nerves once you start dancing.
Oh man, I bet it would have been.
I totally forgot.
What's more nerve-wracking? Nobody there, or do you feel? It's like fighting during COVID. Like I'd watch UFC fights, and I'm like, you're not. Are you more pumped up or more focused? So it's kind of the same way. Like you feed off the energy of the crowd, but you might be more focused on what you're doing.
Totally. I think it's both. Yeah, I think I was definitely more focused on I was more focused on the steps where now I've danced on the Janet Jackson night and with Andy, and I was more focused on the performance the second time around because I was like, oh, there's a crowd, I got to perform. Where before I was counting in my head.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah. I would forget. I would get so nervous.
We can't even say Vietnamese waltz. And I'm looking at, is it Vietnamese waltz? Let alone dance.
I actually made that same mistake, so it's fine. You don't have
Is it Vietnamese?
It's Viennese.
What?
Viennese.
Viennese.
Yeah.
Don't even I can't even speak proper English. So don't even ask me.
I love when I learn new stuff every day. I'm like, oh, wow.
That's
I'm this many years old.
When I was little, I remember my mom took me to ballet class and they were teaching me all the terms at ballet. And they're like, pas de bourrée and tendu and all these things. And I was like, Mom, it's like she's speaking French. And she's like, well, she is. Ballet is French. And I was like, oh, got it.
It's like learning all the streets in LA, La Cienega, and all those Spanish names.
Gosh.
Yeah, you got to learn all those.
No. Okay, hang on. I want to go back and then we'll let you go. I have a couple more questions about the Bachelorette.
Yes.
Your season, the guys got to pick. It was between you or Britt.
Yes.
It was Brittany or Britt. I remember that. Britt. And the guys got to pick.
I know. This was a good question.
What do you ever think, like if she would have got picked, where you would be right now?
Yeah, probably in a ditch somewhere. Just kidding. I don't know.
No way. You seem like you have a positive outlook and you manifest things. So you would have been all right either way. But I think it was meant to be the other way.
Yeah. I do feel like I had when Jeannie got sick, I actually thought, I'm like, did I manifest that? Because things that I manifest do happen. And I will I can convince myself they're already happening. I don't know how I do it, but I actually get freaked out of how it goes. But I don't know where I would be, but I would have figured something out because I have really a lot of like drive with wanting something. So like I always wanted my own radio show. So I think I would have eventually like somehow created my own podcast anyways. It just might not be where it is today, or maybe it would be. I don't know.
Well, you have such a successful podcast. I listen to your podcast Off the Vine on my walks.
Oh my gosh.
Priscilla Block was my favorite interview that you did because I love how her talking about the struggles and the duct tape with her heels. Priscilla Block.
Oh, yes. Oh, I didn't hear
She was one of my favorites.
Oh my God. I was so nervous for you. I thought you had like the wrong podcast. I'm like, oh my God.
No.
No, I just didn't hear, but you
I love that one because it was just her coming up. She's a singer, like a country singer, and like TikTok, she blew up on TikTok. But like with Kaitlyn, they went more in depth, like her struggles and like making her way up to the top. It was a really good interview. It was like one of my favorites.
Oh,
nice.
wow.
I know.
Thank you.
And Jordan really did she hasn't prepped this much for an interview ever. Meaning she didn't just show up on the couch.
I didn't just show up with my blanket. I had all my questions. I was ready, Kaitlyn.
I love that. Thank you so much. I was so excited. And I hope, did you get through all your questions? Please don't feel like you have to rush for me.
No, I have a million, but no, we're going to stop. You're going to go lay down and feel better.
It took my mind off of it. Like I'm definitely sweating under here, but it took my mind off of it because it was such a pleasure talking to you both.
Let me ask, I do have one question that I just wrote down before we started, because not to get too deep here, we're having fun, but when I before got on Big Brother and experienced some success, and yours is like, 10 times that. I kind of had that in my head too. I know what you're talking about when you say that, because I'm like, nothing's going to stop me. It might not be in acting or whatever, but I will do something. I don't know what it is, but I'll do something to get to that next level. And it did come true for me. But now that things are still continuing and not, that I guess reality, you get that bump in fame, and it's like kind of like an endorphin, like boom, I'm famous for 15 minutes and it goes back, to the way it is. But where I'm at in my life now, even when I'm on Daily Blast Live, I'm like, I have like a really bad sense of like imposter syndrome. Like I don't belong here these days. Yeah. Do you ever feel that? Like, I don't know. Do you ever feel that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. And there's times I saw, Ilona Mayer. Is that how you say her name? Ilona?
Who?
She's a rugby player, and I will hate myself.
Did she date Shrek?
What?
Did she date Shrek?
Not Fiona.
Not Fiona. I need to pick myself if I pronounce her name wrong, because I actually like really look up to her. But she was on Dancing with the Stars, and she's a rugby player. And she was like, no, I've never had that. And she was like, I know I deserve to be here. And I was like, wow, what does that feel like? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, I've had imposter syndrome, and I've had the feeling that she's had. So Chris Harrison, he obviously got let go from the show, and Tayshia and I had to step in and host 2 seasons. And on the last season that we hosted, she got sick, and I had to do a 3-hour finale live on national television with the teleprompter and a producer in my ear and carry this whole show. And everyone in the trailer doing the control room was freaking out because I'm so unpredictable. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth. And I think they were like, oh my gosh, it's just Kaitlyn out there, and she has to carry this whole show. And I had never felt more confident and more like I belonged in that seat than I did that day. I was like, I know I'm good at this. I know that it's hard to read a teleprompter. I know that it's hard to read one on live television while like handling a bunch of people's emotions, while pulling up, going to commercial break, having someone in my ear. Like, I know I can do this. And I didn't have it for 1 second. And then I will have it like in a random like setting where if somebody like recognizes me, or what was it? Like, someone told me that Jimmy Kimmel told me this, that him and Jennifer Aniston and Justin Timberlake and all these people used to have the watch parties for my season. And then I go, they don't know who I am. And he's like, yeah, they all definitely know who you are. And then I get imposter syndrome where I'm like, no, I'm just Kaitlyn from like Leduc, Alberta, Canada. And like, that's when I get imposter syndrome, is when like people know who I am.
Oh,
do you ever get like a sense of, because you're very talented in everything you do, and like I strive to be successful like you. Like, it's like you're very motivating. But do you ever feel like if you get a certain job, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough? Do you ever feel that way? Or do you never? You're like, I got the confidence. I know who I am.
It's a little bit of both, and it's gotten more towards like I believe in myself now more than I ever did, and I have the confidence, but I think that's come from overcoming so many fears and imposter syndrome moments, or not feeling like I did deserve things. It's like the overcoming of those moments that got me to a place where I'm like, I've had to do like the self-talk that I have to myself today that I did not have even 5 years ago is just an like day and night change. I used to just speak so poorly to myself. And now I think for 5 years exactly, I've been really like focused on how I speak to myself. And that's the little micro shifts over 5 years of confidence that's given me, and not in a cocky way, just in a way that I feel like I deserve certain things. But then where I get really insecure is when I feel like I'm not doing enough, where I'm like, I can't just sit here and be like, wow, I did that. I did The Bachelor. I did this. I can't like just sit in all of my success. I always think like, why am I not doing anything now? What's next? Like that's where I really struggle. That's where my insecurities come in.
That's a good attitude to have. I know I got to get there. This last couple of years, I've been like fading away, but before I start a project, I'm like, when I'm prepared, let me start from the end. When I'm about to do a project and I'm prepared and I'm ready to go, I'm like, I'm going to crush this thing because I'm ready. You know, when I just get a script and someone like hires me from a small movie to do, I'm like, I'm going to fucking ruin this whole movie. And
I totally relate to that. Yeah. It's like, it's just so, it just depends on where you're at. And I mean, this is just where I'm at right now. And in a week, something could happen where I'm like, wow, I haven't been doing my practice. And like, I could be like, I just never know what attitude I'm going to have. And that's part of being a Gemini. And that's also part of being on antidepressants. But like, at the same time, I'm like, I just don't know what it's going to bring me. And like today I feel like, yeah, I deserved those things. And now I got to focus more on sitting in the success that I've had and not focus on this. And I have so many feelings. And when people are like, are you happy? I'm like, what do you mean? In what hour are we talking? Because humans are meant to feel like the whole scale of emotions in a day. So I don't know how to answer the question, are you happy right now? It's like in this moment, yes. In an hour, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I'm an anomaly. I don't know. It's a lot.
You're great. I'm loving this. And you're doing it sick, by the way. I don't know if we're going to air that in the beginning, but you weren't feeling good coming into this. So thank you so much. And you're crushing it.
Oh, well, you lifted my spirits. Thanks, guys.
Okay, to end this, would if they asked you to do Celebrity Big Brother, would you do it?
Yes, in a heartbeat. That would be my dream. But I would, you're going to tell me no, but I would prefer to do the real one than the celebrity one.
Would you really do a real one? Like that's 3 months.
It's
the more I talk to people, because I always force friendships on people from Big Brother because I'm such a fan of the show. And then after talking to them, I'm like, maybe I don't, but I just want to know what that experience feels like. But I guess I'm getting that experience in like 3 weeks on Celebrity Big Brother. But also, do they do slop on Celebrity Big Brother?
Do they?
I thought they made you taste it. I watch it, but I forgot.
It's definitely very easy. When you see Celebrity Big Brother, I'm like, oh my gosh, they have it so easy.
As a viewer, I think that'd be amazing if you went on a regular season just to see how like a celebrity interacts with the common folk. But you know what I mean? Like Rachel went on this season. You just had Rachel on your podcast. Yes. She was almost a celebrity in their eyes, you know? Yes. And it was weird how she kind of puppeteered the house. And so it'd be interesting if a celebrity went on, not saying Rachel's not a celebrity, but again, you're the Bachelor, I would just say is 10 times bigger than Big Brother. It'd be interesting how you could use that to your advantage in the house. And would you be manipulative and maybe ruin some part of your reputation to take home?
I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could do the manipulative, even though my favorite seasons, like the Dan Gieslings are like my favorite kind of player. And even though like that kind of play now seems to not past like the sniff check, everyone's like so sensitive and it's like they can't play that kind of game anymore. I feel like I would be, this is the problem with having TV experience in my past, is I wouldn't go on naive, and I don't know how I would be, because I would be so scared to like hurt people's feelings or say something wrong that I would play scared. And I'm like, that would definitely be my biggest mistake. But I'm like, or would that help me? I don't know, because Rachel almost saw Rachel as a celebrity in that Big Brother house too. And she was kind of like, I'm the queen, you don't speak to me like that. Where I'm like, oh my God, I would try and lay so low. And I don't know. But again, I probably don't know till I'm there. But if they did Celebrity Big Brother, I don't think they've ever asked someone from an ABC show though to do a CBS show.
There you go. That's interesting.
Think about that.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, that'd be interesting. I wonder who CBS would be down with it, but would ABC?
Yeah.
I had Julie Chen on my podcast and a while back, and I'm like, when she said, "Hey, Kaitlyn," I was like, I was so hyped. So I'm like, maybe I'll slide into Julie's DMs and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this idea?"
You would be.
Are you serious? Like, your life is so nice. Like, don't go backwards.
I know.
Sorry, Big Brother fans, all the Big Brother fans, what you want. But I'm like, I don't, like, you'd be in like a month in, you'd be like, what the fuck am I doing here? Or like, I got this nice life with a mirror ball trophy, a good podcast.
True. Yeah. I don't know if I could be away from my dogs for 3 months either.
Yeah, it's hard. And sharing a bathroom in your 20s, it's fine.
How long is Bachelor beginning to end a season, like filming wise?
It's about 11 to 12 weeks.
Wow, so it's pretty close.
Yeah,
it's. But I mean, I am such a person who loves my alone time that also freaks me out to live in one house with, like, even in my late 20s, I would go into debt just to live on my own in a studio apartment, because I was like, I couldn't live with other people. So that would be a big struggle for me.
That'd be a big one.
Stick with Celebrity Big Brother.
Okay.
Stick
only
with
3
Dancing
weeks.
with the Stars and doing other
Celebrity
stuff.
Big Brother. But Kaitlyn, thank you so much for coming on. You are just a gem, and we had so much fun today. And okay, where can people find you? I know everybody already knows where to find you, but just in case somebody's like, wait,
you driving any new products? What do you got going on now?
You know what? No, I'm in such a weird phase right now where I'm like, I usually do, like, I had a wine label and I had a hair accessory line at one point, and I loved like promoting it. And now I'm like, the factory that actually made my wine had to close down. So I'm like on a break with my wine company, which is devastating for me. But my podcast is like my favorite thing that I do. I've been doing it for 8 years and I absolutely love it. So it's called Off the Vine, and it comes out every Tuesday, Thursday. I interview someone different every week. And sometimes I do solo episodes where I don't even know where I come up with half the shit I talk about. I'm just like, how did I just talk for 45 minutes by myself? I don't know. But that's like my favorite thing that I do. And that's on socials at Off the Vine. And then otherwise I'm just at Kaitlyn Bristowe on all my other platforms.
Wow. This is amazing. I had a lot of fun and got to know you even better. So I enjoyed this.
Just very excited.
No,
now.
but I like when people are normal. You know what I mean? You're just a normal person with a lot of success, and that inspires me. I like that.
He needs some inspiration. He's had a bad year.
Yeah. We'll get into it on a different.
Well, I would love to ask you guys so many questions. So one time, do you guys ever come to Nashville? Probably not.
I haven't. Actually, my family was just left. They spent Thanksgiving in Nashville.
Oh, really?
But I haven't been. Yeah, my grandparents are 3 hours from Nashville. They live in a small, tiny little town called Shawneetown. But yeah, I haven't been to Nashville in years.
I went one time. I did this event that nobody knew who I was at all, with all these other like celebrities at the Palms or something.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Wait, was it a charity event?
Yeah, I was a waiter. I had to be a waiter.
Was it waiting for wishes?
Yeah. I did that one year.
I did that a couple years. That's funny that we didn't have a crossover there, but yeah, they do the waiting for wishes at the Palm.
Yeah, Rick Springfield was there. Richard Dent from the Chicago Bears. Like, I'm like, what am I doing here? That Olympic swimmer. I was like, what am I? No one even knows who I am. Whoever's going to get a steak from me.
That was like when he was fresh off Big Brother.
Oh, yeah.
But that was fun, and I enjoyed Nashville. Well, I enjoyed walking down to get a bagel at 9 a.m. People are getting hammered to live music.
It's crazy. I mean, I live outside of the craziness, and unless I have a friend in town who's never been, I like will not go down there. I can't even handle the smell. But if you guys are ever in Nashville, you'll have to sit on the couch across from me.